Let's find out what our chartists are betting on this morning. Dr. C.K. Narayan and Kunal Bothra joining in. And Dr. Narayan, let's understand what your outlook is this Friday for the markets in terms of what levels you're tracking and where it is that you're finding opportunity by way of individual stock calls.
Good morning, Avan. Good morning, everybody. Yesterday's price action in the Nifty certainly tilted it a little back into the favor of advances, although it's caught in a bit of a range after that big decline of last Monday. Now, the bulls will have to continue with what they have done. Actually, they didn't do very much. It was all Reliance which did the whole trick for the Nifty yesterday. So, the others will really have to pull themselves up, and you will need to see much more of other sector participation if the Nifty has to, haul itself up above the immediate resistance, get itself above 11,500. Without that, it will become very, very difficult. Now, the Bank Nifty has not fared as well. That's because there was no Reliance to save the Bank Nifty. Or its equivalent, I mean. So the Bank Nifty continues to dawdle somewhere near where it was or in the range that it has created over the last 3 days. So it looks to be a little more difficult for the Bank Nifty. That said, if you look at what option traders have done, it seems to me that some long strangles have been created with some out of the money options, and that's an interesting feature. So maybe it looks like some set of people are betting for some large movements to occur from the current levels. I don't know about that possibility, but right now I would think, speaking for the day, it seems like we may have a lower support at about 11,350 and a top resistance at about 11,500, and pretty much the Nifty should be confined within this. And given that as a background, I have a couple of buys because overall trend bias has become a little bit positive with yesterday's action. So the two buys that I have is first is a buy on Berger Paints. I think Asian Paints was in great form, and its move upward managed to drag up Berger Paints, and so Berger is a buy for a target 590, stop loss 568. Cement stocks came into sudden action towards the last about 30-40 minutes of the day, and all of them looked up. So Ambuja Cement I am giving as a buy today in expectation that possibly the action in cement might continue or spill over into today. Ambuja Cement buy for target 221, stop loss 208.
Okay, that's the stance that Dr. Narayan is taking. Kunal, let's understand your perspective on the markets. Closing in at 11,450 in yesterday's trading session, positive across the board. What did you make of that? And share with us some of your trades. What are you looking at on the charts this morning?
So good morning, Avan. I think yes, yesterday's move was completely dominated by what Reliance did yesterday. More than 2/3 of the contribution on the Nifty throughout the day, and I think at one point of time when the Bank Nifty was also supporting the markets quite well, 400 points, 450 points at one point of time. At the end it got separated, and the markets clearly demarcated that Reliance Industries the way the Reliance Industries supported stock prices and the overall market movement. Bank Nifty gave up major of its gains in that regard. So that clearly determines that the market mood over the next couple of weeks and months could probably be lined up by the performance of this large cap stock. Now in that regards, I believe that I would expect that the market could stabilize. Now 11,450, 500 is an important zone of resistance from a short-term charts. We've had 3 attempts towards this range on the Nifty, and I would sense that if there is finally a breakout of this 11,450, 500 mark, then I believe that you could expect that the markets could channel up, yet again on the upside, and probably even try and challenge its previous swing highs and move up higher. So I think this is going to be an important day today for the market to try and test its major resistance on the short-term charts. In that regards, I would suggest a couple of buy calls. Now the first one is a buy on Manappuram Finance. I believe many of these gold finance stocks have started to get into an oversold territory. I think 147, 145 has been a good support zone for Manappuram Finance. So I think keeping that as a short-term outlook would suggest a buy with 155 as a target and stop loss at 142. The second would be a buy on Bandhan Bank. I think on the hourly chart specifically, the stock is forming a triangular pattern, and I would expect that this could result into the stock breaking out of this triangular pattern on the short-term chart. So that's a buy. Targets of 330, stop loss to be kept at 292.